Hello, people of the internet. This is JJ Doe signing on for the first time, first video. Here we go. So, sorry about the fact that this speed paint is, it starts halfway through the drawing process. I did record all of it, but half of it went missing, so I'm afraid you're only getting half the speed paint. But you could get the general gist of the process of this from that. Anyway, I had an absolute brainwave idea. I have recently been utterly obsessed with the Magnus archives, as in ADHD down the rabbit hole. Obsessed. I am already on episode 71. Do not spoil it for me, please. Please do not spoil it for me. I am loving every second so far. But I figured, hey, if I'm going to be obsessing over this, and I'm already obsessing over this other thing, as you can probably tell from the fact that this is Sera from Hazbin Hotel. That other thing is, of course, Hazbin Hotel. I know it's got its flaws. I know that. I know it's not perfect. But I love it. It is cringy as all hell. It's full of show tunes. And I love it. I love it. It tickles me. I just love it. Anyway, I figured since I love these two things, brainwave, what if I mash them together? Sorry if I am rambling. I am not doing this with a script. I am raw ducking this, so bear with me. Anyway, I have things kind of lined up for each of the characters so far. I can confirm who's taking the places of John and the archival assistants. I've got, of course, Sera is going to be John in this. Sera Phim, head archivist of the Magnus Institute. Yes, the pun is intentional. The pun must always be intended. It doesn't matter if you have to retcon that pun to be intended, it will be intended. Anywho, Sera is the head archivist of the Magnus Institute. After the tragic disappearance of the previous head archivist, Lucifer Morningstar. Ooh, yes, we're gonna get into some lore. I am still figuring out the entire lore here, so bear with me. I am writing this as I go along. So, yeah. Anyway, the previous head archivist, Lucifer Morningstar, along with his daughter Charlie Morningstar, went missing. There has been no trace, not even a body has been found. And as such, Sera, after a while, was promoted to head archivist. She is rather no nonsense, bit like John, rather skeptical of a lot of things, but she has, of course, had her own experiences with the supernatural. And as such, she definitely knows that the supernatural exists. Also, please ignore the WhatsApp notifications. I will have to try and disable those from my laptop so that they don't keep popping up. Anywho. Sorry, just ignore the cringy anywho's from me. I do that. Anyway, Sera is now head archivist. Her assistants are Adam, surname in progress. I will figure something out. Loot, surname also in progress. I will figure that out. And Emily Phim, Sera's younger sibling. She has taken each of these from different departments, of course. Loot and Adam were previously in research. Emily was in artifacts. And now all four of them are, of course, in the archives. Now, of course, I am at season 2 of the Magnus Archive, so again, people in the comments, do not spoil anything for me, please. I have already have had enough spoilers from the people in the actual comment section of the Magnus Archives videos. Do not spoil anything more for me than they already do. But because of that, I do now know about the entities. And as such, of course, each of the guys within the Institute is, or rather within the archives, is of course touched by a different entity. Sera is, of course, going to end up being an avatar of the eye, naturally, because archivist. But has had ties to the web, as has Emily. Adam has been touched in some way, probably by the desolation, because he's just an absolute bastard. I mean, you can't say I'm wrong, because I'm not. And as for loot, I don't know. As I say, this is all a work in progress here. This has so far just been a case of, oh, cool idea, shiny new idea, and yeah. But anyway, yeah. I mean, if you want like a little kind of few podcast episodes where I actually script something of Sera as the head archivist with things randomly going to shit, I suppose I could do that for you guys. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But, you know, if you just want the speed paints, I shall definitely continue doing those. This has been so much fun to do. But yes, long story short, TLDR. Lucifer Morningstar, the previous head archivist, went missing, along with his daughter, Charlie Morningstar, after his divorce from Lilith. And now Sera has been promoted to head archivist and has specifically requested the assistance of Adam and Lute, but got saddled with her younger sibling, Emily, as well, because Emily wanted to be with her older sister. Yes, I am headcanoning Emily as non-binary. No, you cannot change my mind. And as Sera goes through the archives, bemoaning how utterly disorganized Lucifer is, and pulling ducks out of everything. And I mean everything. There are ducks in filing cabinets, ducks in desk drawers, ducks out the wazoo. Anyway, because of the ducks everywhere, there will just be random squeaks, just all the time. Like, in her recordings, it's just a case of, please excuse the ducks. The ducks are left from the previous head archivist, who could not either organize an archive or keep rubber ducks out of everything. And then she probably finds some really, really sad backstory of some sort, like from the divorce, about how Lucifer had Charlie in the office a lot, and the rubber ducks were for her. Look, Lucifer's just a little guy, okay? I love him. Don't judge me. Actually, feel free to judge me. I don't care. I am judged on a daily basis. I do not care. Anyway, if you like my ADHD rambling, consider subscribing. I am going to update this at some point. Do not mistake me for someone who will have a consistent upload schedule. I probably won't. But if you're okay with ADHD rambling and you like my art and you want to support this little college student artist, consider liking the video, subscribing. Anyway, enough of my little spiel there. Back to the video. Anyway, as for the actual process of this, since I have not got into that yet, I went for a very sketchy style with this, as I think it fits the Magnus archives very well. Um, with the whole thing with it being like a kind of academic framing of a supernatural horror. So I decided a more sketchy style would be in order because, it kind of reminds me of like anatomy studies, like scientific anatomical studies or like police portraits, like, the suspect drawings. So, yeah, I figured that would be what I was going for, and to just flex on how I am able to render hair. Yes, I am very much patting myself on the back with that one because I love it. The hair is just mwah, chef's kiss. Love it. She's got the most beautiful, luscious hair, so voluminous. Like, Queen, what products do you use? I also decided that I was going to kind of sort of follow the sort of silhouette that Sera has for the outfit of her design by giving her a very, very, very long skirt. But still, I had to keep her academic, so, the button up shirt with the tie and the comfy looking sweater it is. Seriously, I actually have a sweater like that, and it is so comfy. Anyway, um, I mostly used I used I use Fire Alpaca. That's my drawing program, and for the line art, I used the sketchbook. Um, I can't remember what it's called now. The I sound like an idiot. The I think it's something like sketchbook pencil brush. Um, because it's got a really lovely texture on it. And then I did all the coloring and shading and whatnot with a watercolor brush. And to further blend out edges, I used the blur blending brush. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I did it. I used black on an overlay layer for the shadows and white on a hard light layer, lowered the opacity to either 50 or 30 on both of those so that, it wasn't absolutely in your face, because that would look a bit weird. Um, anyway, to get on to more of the personality of the character, as I said, Sera as head archivist would be rather no nonsense, a little bit of a skeptic, but would probably be more inclined to believe people when they make a statement than, Jonathan Sims in the actual Magnus archives. Um, as for how she gets along with the rest of the gang, I imagine she rather likes Loot. Loot is probably the most competent out of everyone. Loot and Sera are carrying this entire operation here. They are like girl power, but they are literally the ones carrying the entire thing. Adam is surprisingly competent, actually. He's not as competent as Sera and Loot, but he can get a job done. He can. He's a bit like Tim in the sense that he tends to seduce information out of people. Also, absolutely pansexual Adam. I am doing that with this. I am doing that. I am not hearing anything. This is my goddamn fan project. I am not hearing anything else. Adam in this will be very much a if there's a hole, there's a goal kind of guy. But yeah, he has consistently tried to sleep with Lute. Lute has consistently turned him down. As for Emily, Emily is kind of like a little puppy. She's a little bit like Martin in the sense that, also, please ignore the flashes to to other drawings. I accidentally hit the wrong button. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Emily. Emily is a little puppy. She is a golden retriever. Like, they are a golden retriever. She, they pronouns, Emily. Hell yeah. Anyway, actually, just all pronouns. Emily uses all pronouns. Emmy, whatever you want. Anyway, M is a literal golden retriever. They have no idea what they're doing, but they just want to be around their big sister. They just want to make their big sister proud. And that is adorable. We stand that. Absolutely adorable. As for who is taking on the role of Elias, I imagine that would just be God, but it's just God. That's just gonna be God. I'm gonna have to find some obscure name for God to give to Elias or our Elias stand-in. But yeah, it's that's gonna be God. Um, and yeah, that's kind of what I've got so far. I imagine Sarah starts out sounding rather serious, if a little bored, reading out the statements, but as time goes on, she gets really, really into it. To the point where at some point M walks in and Sarah literally screams out of shock because like she was in the zone. She was in the damn zone. Anyway, that is all the time I've got. Thank you for listening to my little TED Talk. Peace out.